Alright, cool. And now I can actually see who's viewing, whether we're going down, what's going on. Yeah, okay, that's all good. I wish for dragons, oh Bungie mine. Yeah, no, 100%. I'm right there with you. Okay. Mission Captus. Perform a paracausal ritual to help Eris bind the Echo of Navigation to her throne world. Oh, it's time. Ooh, it's time. The mission for week 3 of Act 2 has a high... okay. Aldiso, I'm just gonna let you know, I would consider that to be a spoiler, just because it's not a story detail, it's still, you know, spoiling things, kind of. You know, I'd rather not know that in advance.
Guardian, we are poised to strike, and strike first. Meet me aboard the Dreadnought. I will perform our ritual where I fell. Oryx will bend to our strength, and my throne will be his prison.
Oh, it's time. Is dialogue volume up? Yep, okay, weird waypoint, that's fine. Context, this is... I don't know why people are mentioning Surus Regime. It's not Surus Regime, it's the Trials machine gun. In case, because I know these do actually look kind of similar. Well, 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 this plate's lit up. Oh.
Guardian, Savathun and Zebu Arath's forces close on us like jagged teeth. Thwart them. Protect the ritual as I bind the echo of the Navigator to my throne world. I will subdue the Taken King, capture him, cleave him from his throne. He will not escape my power. I will be his jailer yet.
Oh boy, it's happening. Alright. Shame that we don't get a full refill of ammo, but whatever. Oh. There he is. Ah, I wondered if she might show up. I don't know if I'm supposed to stand in this one location. Okay, cool. I can just roam around the court. That's all good. Surus weapons look similar? Yeah, they absolutely do. That's part of why I picked up on it. Eris without a blindfold is really interesting. Yeah, I love that the blindfold is off now. Kind of like represents a new age of... Whoa! Okay. Puzzle time. Oh, do I have to match the rune or something? Okay, I mean, let's... Oh no, they're Acolyte's Eyes and Eyes of Vengeance. Okay, that's interesting. Ugh, so you need to... Okay. What if I just shoot the Eyes of Vengeance? Ooh, okay, so if you shoot the Eyes of Vengeance, they disappear. I see, okay. Ah, the power of reading, everybody. Eris without the hood on, does she have hair? I imagine it's more of a Kerrigan situation if you played StarCraft 2. It's got very hivey, kind of like how Kerrigan's got very Zergy. Yes, I did notice that Eris does not have her blindfold on the moon now. Oh my god, there's even more of them. Okay. Shoot the Eyes of Vengeance. Acolyte's Eyes. Damn, that heavy ammo. Oh, damn, okay. So it's like, by the looks of things, it's the, like, various points on the rune that you kind of have to match to it as well. It's not just about the eyes. Ooh, let's do that. Let's kill you real quick. Ooh, consume. Lol, brute force the eyes. I mean, look, listen, I would pull a barb every once in a while, but only if it really got desperate. Okay, we've had what looks... Okay. Still one guy over here. And his Warbeast friend. Coffee bean. So I imagine it's that one. That one. That one? Yeah. Oh, here we go. My god, it's just getting sucked in there. Yo!
Magnificent.
What? What? Oh, magnificent, not majestic. If that had been majestic, I would have had alarm bells going off in my brain, because majestic is a very... yeah, that word indicates things, but no. Oh, okay. I'm gonna just let this time out in case there is a dialogue thing. Majestic eagles, yes indeed, Stardevil. Did it work? Yes, I do believe it worked. Let's take a look at the quest real quick. Check in with Sloane in the Lost City. So I imagine this is gonna be a big trap. Trap? No, I read that from Thomas More in chat. My apologies. I imagine this is going to be a big conversation. That's what I meant to say. Words are hard. You'll hear me say that a lot as I stream. I sound much more eloquent over videos, or I've been able to actually cut out the moments where I completely screw up whenever I'm talking. Words are my job. Speaking is my job. Speaking coherently all the time. Very tricky. Loving the lore, this act so good. Yeah, Firestorm, like, they're killing it. You know, like, it's... I think it's fair to say that we didn't necessarily expect this after Revenant and Echoes were sort of duds and received pretty poorly. But like this... Oh, this is ridiculous. Like, they've had banger week after banger week when it comes to the story of Heresy. And the amazing thing is, Act 3 starts next week. There's no break. Like, they're just letting it go with regards to actual flow. It's going to be great. Huge momentum. Yes, Matt Effect. 100% that. Momentum is something that's so commonly missed out of the stories. Yeah, it's very important to get that stuff right. Let's see. I'm actually gonna... Is there anything new at the Shaping Slab? No. Okay. Anything new on Resolve for the Shaping Slab? No. Okay. But we go back to Ambition, because we actually like Ambition. I presume it's in the Throne World? Oh, there it is. You see, I wondered if this would be the containment for the Echo. Ah, look at that. You know, that's surprisingly detailed for a model, too. Look at this. Ooh, we're going to get holotech for Sloane at this point, I think, too.
Guardian, we have him. Eris's mission was a success.
Oh, it's voiced. Yay.
Can't say I'm not impressed. Eris and I have never been afraid to do what needed to be done, regardless of the risk. And now we've captured the Taken King himself. I told Eris that fear is a warning. Correctly deployed, we can send that warning to our enemies. Now the Taken and the Dread hear it loud and clear. You know I was against bringing him here. Eris's throne world was our tactical advantage. But we had to move fast. That's what Eris did. She reacted, and now we have to adapt. This is an opportunity. We've got Oryx pinned. Hold him, Guardian.
We're going to hear from Oryx now? Gaze into the Shaping Slab, reflect on your path. Weird that Oryx himself has been remarkably quiet about this. I think Gaze into the Shaping Slab is probably just going to be like the typical like outro worth of audio dialogue stuff, but reflect on your path is interesting, because here's something that I think most people haven't necessarily picked up on. Oh yeah, that improved Hollow Ghost is 10 out of 10. GG, well played, Bungie. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, so things that people have not necessarily picked up on. Path of Ambition and Path of Resolve. Resolve clearly comes from Sloane, right? Like, that's just the way it absolutely is, because that's how she learns to control the taken energies. Eris guides us to the place where we learn about the Path of Ambition. The Path of Ambition itself comes from a call that we don't know about in the Dreadnought, and whoever this unknown new master of the Taken is, it likely originates with them, is the kind of hypothesis I've been running with at very least. Can we make a new gun from the Echo? Oh, you would expect.
Guardian, we are triumphant. With the Echo of the Navigator as our prisoner, we have gained ground against those who would subdue us.
We still have to deal with Oryx's sisters. Eris's actions have galvanized them. Oh, but the Echo is secured for now. We have our shot at finishing this.
We must not destroy him. He is a rich source of knowledge. As Echo and King, bound we may interrogate him.
And how long until you lose control?
I cannot hold him indefinitely. Keeping the Echo of the Navigator in my throne world consumes my focus.
If the Echo escapes, or if his sisters are successful, it'll punch a hole through your throne world and straight into the Dreadnought. The last city would be in extreme danger.
I will not allow it.
Of course you won't, but Oryx would. We can't let our ambition outstrip our ability.
Quite.
Guardian, we need you back on the Dreadnought. You're our line of defense. Keep the Echo out of Xivu Arath and Savathun's hands. Assert control.
I will learn what I can from the Echo. But by force or ritual, they will move to reclaim their stolen sibling.
I'll say it again, for good measure. I don't like this. We're putting humanity at risk. Sloane. Hey, and a new mod. Handling swap speed, reload speed. Okay, Act 2 complete. Galvanizing the other two siblings is kind of wild, for those of you who are not immediately aware of it. Damn. I was looking for that good afterlight. This is the first thing I really want to go ahead and pick up on, because honestly, that's going to be the big takeaway from this. Savathun and Xivu Arath do not like each other. Like, Savathun actively thinks that Xivu is contemplating ridiculous nonsense that really doesn't matter. And in the meantime, Xivu is happy to call Savathun a heretic all on her own for claiming the light. But Xivu is also just kind of a lost sibling at this point. Her entire existence is very much sort of carved into the point and prospect of everything to do with just Oryx having returned, and it's kind of the main thing that's given her drive at the moment. I think the fact that I think the fact that we're looking at all of this from the perspective of Xivu and Savathun uniting is scary. You know, that's potential for the Hive to actually be galvanized as a force properly, which means, hey, Lucent Hive and Dark Hive. Maybe this plays into Savathun's plans more greatly, though, because she has kind of been trying to pull apart that divide. Let's see. While we're at this... Swap seed. Yeah, no count. Welcome to what it's like when I actually have to do things live. I'm gonna say things, and it's not always gonna be correct. Eris has a basement? Yeah. Thank you, by the way, to Darks and Joe, I believe it. No, it wasn't Darks and Joe. It was actually Elle. It was my wife who found this first, I believe. At least amongst the group of people who told me about it, it was her. So thank you, Elle, for that one. But yeah, Eris has a little kind of study underneath the throne. Isn't that great? It's very cozy. And for those of you who want to know, you can access it literally just by going like this. Like, it's literally at all four corners of the area. You just drop down and then go through a door. Nice and easy. But yeah, at this moment in time, if anyone wants to go ahead and ask questions about all this, because at this point, I think it's very clear that the next step is just, hey, we wait for seeing what happens at Act 3. We have claimed Oryx and the echo and memory of him. Savathun and Xivu Arath might try some more desperate plans, but there's also just... yeah, There's just a lot of other stuff going on that might potentially impact the story. I still don't know what's going on with this new Master of the Dire Taken, but yeah. If you want to go ahead and ask a question, best thing you can do is at my name is Bife on that, so I get it highlighted in the chat. Act 2 ending feels like it's too good to be true, like something is going to go horribly wrong in Act 3. Yeah, I think there's the potential for that. Either that or this is a moment where we basically just have a really big clarifying point in the story. Do you think we'll see Xivu in Act 3 in person? Probably not. I think it's likely that when we see Xivu, it's going to be a full expansion. And like we did see her in the cutscene, but no, I think that they're deliberately holding back her in-game appearances for what I would presume is the planned appearance of Xivu, which I have to assume is going to be Keitel and Xivu fighting over Tora Battle. Who do we think is controlling the Dire Taken? No idea. It's kind of the entire point of all the lore around it. If you have not found all the secrets of the Dreadnought, I would recommend going through and in particular getting enough progress to unlock the 2 secret areas and get the book for the Song of Descent. This is really good. From the Last and Resonance Song are the latest 2 entries. I haven't actually discussed these on the channel yet, but yeah, these make for some very interesting reading. In particular as well, there's stuff to do with Kate Eyre in one of these, I believe. So there's a lot to that. Do we think there will be new dialogue in the Nether? That is a great question, because you know what? We have Oryx now. I'd suspect there's new dialogue in both the Nether and the Court of Blades. So we'll go ahead and we'll do some of that as well afterwards. Post video by Fear, there is no new dialogue. Just so you know. Do you think the good vibes around Heresy is placebo because of the tradition of the last season being good? Honestly, I understand what you're saying about that, but the last season has not always universally been good in Destiny times. Like, I need everyone to just go ahead and remember that whilst I liked the Season of the Seraph story, people were quite down on it up until the final moment with that Rasputin cutscene where everything basically went to pot and he sacrificed himself. So, like, I need you to know that vibe is very much not always there. Like, people have this kind of a false memory of some of that and how it necessarily works. Genuinely, I think that they fixed a lot of the teething problems with this kind of format. I think that this is actually some of the best seasonal content we've had delivered thus far. And I know that opinions will vary, and yes, there is a recency bias to all of that, but I look back at things like Season of the Splicer is always what I hold these things up to. Season of the Witch as well. I'd say these are very, very good. The story is really compelling, but I think the most important bit is that we've not had a single dud week with regards to story. Like, honestly, this is the shortest week. This feels like it's closest to the potential dud, but we captured Oryx in this week. Like, the story and narrative tangibly moved forward, which is not something that always happens. Has there been any alternate dialogue with Touch of Malice equipped? No, there has not. Although I imagine that's something people would already have tested, because, yeah, if people hadn't realized this, they would have known about it at some point. There's Drifter dialogue talking about the hidden in the Last City. Interesting. I need to go ahead and look into that. There's also lore on Chalco and the Drifter and some of the stuff to do with the hidden. There's new lore about the hidden generally. Do you think Xivu will get access to her throne? It'd take some pretty remarkable story stuff to go ahead and do that. You reading the unvoiced parts made me think you were reading dialogue options for a second. Could you imagine if Bungie added that in the future as a part of their storytelling methods? Yeah, I could. The problem with a live service game with millions of players, though, is that you're gonna sit there and have people choosing branching paths, and that means that you kind of have to resort to the like the Fallout 4 version of dialogue trees, where it's the illusion of choice. It all ends in the same outcome. So, like, I don't necessarily know how that actually works out. If you want dialogue trees, you want meaningful differences to come along, and that can't always be done. Mav7, I like to think Tolan just got so unbelievably fed up with us refusing the throne and renouncing the throne. He was like, fine, I'll do it myself. Yeah, possibility. Absolutely a possibility. Pretty sure New Worm is controlling the Dire Taken. It is one of the possibilities that we've discussed. If you go back into the lore that you got from Echoes and you go to part 5 of the Polyphony lore book, As a Stranger Gives It Welcome has that weird mention of the Knot thing, the Knot Worm, the Great Unquiet, or the Great Quiet Thing, the Knot Worm. So yeah, it kind of fits with that analogy of, like, there is a massive creature somewhere out there. It also would need to be something incredibly powerful and would have to have knowledge of Taking to control the Taken. Ooh, there is secret dialogue at the last city with Drifter. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at this. Sorry, everyone. Suspending questions for a sec there. I'm gonna look around for this. Hello, Joe. When you say there is secret dialogue... Ooh, it's this. I see. It's here.
Well, can't patch a hive sword up with the everyday ceiling. Where's that leave us? You're gonna need some kind of taken fanciness for that. More than I have handy. Might be easier in the right place. Got some thoughts on that? I'll leave you a couple notes. Now, if anyone asks, I didn't tell you this, but they can't do anything to you anyway. Been working with the hidden a little. Call it freelancing. I do a favor for them, they do a favor for me. They're squares, but they've got good intel. And they've been keeping an eye on Savathun. We're gonna have to deal with her sooner, not later. Still digging, but when something useful comes up on her, I'll be in touch, hero. You just stay ready.
Ah, so that's what people were talking about with regards to the Drifter and the Hidden. So, to give you guys an idea of how that looks on the lore side of things, should be in collections. I think it's under weapons. God, I wish there was just a here's the new weapons from this season, like in a collector's badge. But there are new weapons this season that talk about Drifter and the Hidden kind of working together and doing a few bits and pieces. There's also lore about the Hidden generally. Fun note, and this is a little preview to something we'll make a video on at some point inevitably, Ikora Rey has stepped back as the leader of the Hidden, is now just going to nominate someone else to do that. She is going to retain her role as leader of the Vanguard, but now Chalco Yong is going to be the leader of the Hidden. So yeah, she's going to be our new hunter, the head of the intelligence agency for all of that. But like the real stuff to do with the Hidden and the Drifter, I think is earlier on. It's not that. I'm going to see if I can just... Is it in my more recently discovered things? Division is to do with the 9, so it's not that. Oh goodness, it's going to be in some of the older stuff that's like all the way back, isn't it? You think we will take the throne? I don't think we'll take the throne. I think something else is going to happen. If I had to go ahead and guess, I think I'd probably give you like a false impression of it anyway. I honestly don't want to put my finger on it. Like for the first time in ages, I don't see what the predictable end to this story is. You know, like when it really came down to it, there are a few surprises at the end of some seasonal stories, but like most of the time you will sit there and you'll be able to kind of ballpark where it's going. For the first time in ages, I don't know how this goes, you know? Like, even in Season of the Wish, which did it in a very novel way, we kind of knew that we'd have to defeat, like, Xivu Arath in some manner. We'd have to make sure that there was some kind of resolution to that plot line, and there was. I didn't expect it to go down the way it did, but it absolutely did. Let's see. Do you have any concerns regarding the pace of the story? I do, because it feels like there's no real time to marinate some of the story bits. For example, Drifter leaving. You know, on that, I actually disagree. I think that it would have been the... So here's the thing, right? I am maybe a little biased on that, because we are coming off of the... Well, the pacing of Revenant, where everything kind of just happened at once and it felt like there was no time to breathe. I kind of feel like it's the total opposite, you know? Like... There is a... Okay, let's actually nail in, because this is a good topic. Pacing matters according to the moment, right? Like, Drifter leaving was something where we kind of didn't have much more we could do, because he himself was just gone. Like, there's nothing that we can sit down and actually change about that. It's his own decision. We just kind of had to live with it. Now, when it comes to pacing with this moment of capturing Oryx, I'm expecting changes within the dialogue of the Nether, and if there's not, that's a bit of a fumble there. Because, like, immediately you're dealing with the consequences of Savathun and Xivu Arath might be uniting their forces and galvanizing the hive together. That's awesome if that happens. But it's a... You kind of see what I mean? Like, it's a moment-by-moment, situation-by-situation thing. Pacing is not a universal, like, trend graph that you can follow. Much as people love to sit there and post the Star Wars graph, which, for the sake of a movie, is great, it isn't like that all the time. You know, we're sitting here in this moment where a story's pace sometimes needs to be slow so things can marinate, and sometimes needs to be fast. And sometimes there are events that happen outside of our control where pacing just gets thrown out of the window. Do you think revealing Eris was alive after the first week was a mistake? No. I think that dramatic irony like that is fine, especially because it primed us to not have the debate at, like, Act 2, Week 1. Because if you see where that goes, basically, with the stories, you know, you'd basically have sat there, and on the flip side, you would have had people sitting there and saying, Bungie can't commit to a story decision. Why couldn't they have let Eris stay dead? They couldn't even let her stay dead for 5 weeks. This absolutely is... No, I completely disagree. I know that there's going to be some people who disliked the idea that it wasn't kept as a surprise, but you've got to contemplate the alternate possibility there. And I think that dramatic irony let us see what the emotional, tangible results of all that were, whilst also still giving us the note of like, hey, we know that there is going to be some backlash if we do not let you guys know. Also, it was a really cool reveal that she had a throne world without saying it outright. And now that's a major part of... Like, can you imagine how out of nowhere it would be if, like, Act 2, Week 1, we just did this, and then at the end of the thing, well, Throne World, you know, hi, no idea. Like, yeah, it would have been an amazing surprise to some, but there would have been some people sitting there and saying, like, the total opposite. Being like, man, you guys can't commit to killing a character at all. Like, that's where I sit on that one. Act 3 plot twist, Kel'Grath will take the Taken Throne in the name of Xivu. He can try. I'll stand in it. I'll take the Taken Throne before Kel'Grath does. Would you do a lore walkthrough of things other than raids, like exotic missions or Excision or Dual Destiny? Hell yeah, if there's enough demand and if it works. What is the name of her throne world? Her throne world is personally called the High Heresy, but in the game, the location is called the Noiseless Chantry. So maybe that's the space within the Ascendant Plane is known as that, because, I mean, look at this place, the Grand Cathedral of her soul, but she has named it the High Heresy.